Hey everybody, God bless you. From Portugal, and a roadside rest on the way of the cross here just outside a little town here in Portugal. Today as we were walking with the cross, we saw a little sign that said the way of the cross. And it seemed like the right thing for someone carrying a cross to walk down the way of the cross. And what an amazing surprise God had for us. It's beautiful. We're out here and there are fields of olive trees and fig trees. There are these beautiful doves every place. The wind is blowing. It's absolutely gorgeous. All these little stone walls that people made centuries ago. The way of the cross. All along the way there are stations of the cross reminding us of the suffering of Jesus. And as I'm walking on the way of the cross, it reminds me of so often I'll go somewhere to speak. I'm invited to speak, and the person inviting me often says, please bring your cross. And then they'll add, as long as it's not an inconvenience, as long as it's no trouble. And I know their heart is really good, but inside I chuckle a little bit, because what part of a cross, what part of the way of the cross was ever convenient? What way was ever comfortable? What part of the cross was ever easy? You know, as we walk along here and we see the stations of the cross, and as we read our Bibles, we see how Jesus suffered. We see how he who knew no sin became sin, so that we might become the righteousness of God in him. We look at the cross and we see Jesus on the cross with his arms stretched out saying, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. We hear his scream as he says, it's paid in full, it's finished. My price, your price, the price of this world was paid. Now it's not a burden, it's not a sacrifice, it's not a penance that we make. The price has already been paid. You and I don't have to pay anything, we receive that gift. And yet, Jesus invites us to take up our cross. Now, I don't know if you can see or not, but here on my collarbone, from the years of the weight of the wood, my collarbone has been shaped, it's grooved, it's developed about 1.5 inches of bone growth because of the wood, not because of the cross. That's the wood that I carry. And yet I think about when Jesus says for us to take up our cross. That's what it does to our heart. That's what it does to our life. We're shaped. He molds us into his image, and we become the reflection of him. As Paul said, it's no longer we who live, because we've been crucified with Christ, but it's he who lives through us. It's he who's seen. Now, the way of the cross is not easy. It's not comfortable. It's not convenient. It's difficult. And yet Jesus says, take up my yoke. My yoke is easy. My burden is light. It seems like a contradiction, but it's because Jesus walks with us. He promises to walk with me. He promises to walk with you. He promised us to finish the work he began in us as we walk down the way of the cross. We just wanted to stop. It was a great place to rest, and we just want to say thanks for joining us on this trip. Thanks for praying for us. God bless you from a roadside stop on the way of the cross in Portugal.